Hey everybody, welcome back. This is part 3 of my ultimate router table build. If you haven't yet already, please do and check out part 1 and 2. I'll leave a link up in one of the corners for you. Now this is the last video in the build. We're going to be purely looking at the router fence. I've gone into a little bit of detail. This is why this video is going to be a bit longer than what I normally put out. But I wanted to go over exactly what I did and how I did it. Once again, if you'd like the SketchUp plans for this build, I will be releasing them free of charge to you. All I'll ask is that you pop over to my Facebook page and I'll leave a link in there to download all the plans. Now sadly, these are just my SketchUp plans. If you're not aware of what SketchUp is, I strongly recommend you go and have a look. It's a free to use program put out by Google. Now obviously when I was designing this router table, I did so for my height. I'm tiny. And it had to be the size that I could place it underneath my floating mitre station. But for you it might be different. You may want a standalone table, in which case you can raise the height, change the legs, anything you want. So if you do try and attempt this router table build, then please do leave me a comment down below to let me know how you're getting on. If you get stuck or need any questions, then again please leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So without further ado, I hand you over to my other very handsome colleague. It's me again, and I'll see you soon. skipped ahead slightly. All I've done is, as you've just seen, I've rounded off the corners of these, and I've drilled a 8mm hole to accept the M6 bolt that will go all the way through, and it will attach it on the top with a T-nut and a homemade handle. What I need to do is fix these two together for temporarily, and drill a hole to accept this. I believe it's off an old router or some kind. It may have been a fence at some stage, I'm not too sure. So I'm going to be using this for the bar for the micro adjuster part of the fence. So what I've got are these two blocks. They measure approximately 60 by 40mm, and they act as a clamp for the bar. I'm going to need two on the fence. I've already fitted one in place, and this is going to be the next one. So this is how I did it. The two parts to the fence are both together now. You've got the adjustable part and the main fence. The adjustable part is going to be the main part that's fixed down to the table. The fence is going to be held in place again with these metal rods. I now need to work out a way to add some of the M6 threaded bar that I've got onto the adjustable parts of the fence and the main fence with a crank handle of some kind, so you can move, once these are loosened off, move the fence away from the adjustable part. I think I may have come up with a way to make the micro adjuster for the fence. I've taken these two pieces of oak worktop, cut them down to approximately 100mm in length, and I placed one on the main fence and one on the adjusting part. I've set the part on the adjustment part of the fence approximately 40mm away from the back of the adjusting part, and the part that's going to be fixed to the main fence is going to be right on the back of this part of the fence. Okay, let's go over what I've just done. So we've got the two bits of block here. We've got the main block that fixes onto the fence part and the smaller block that goes onto the adjuster. It's connected by a piece of M6 threaded bar. I have two nuts on this end to keep it on with a washer, and again washer, two nuts, and that just lets it spin freely on the threaded bar. I then have two more nuts here. Now these aren't necessary, but I don't want to put any sort of stress on these two blocks when they're in place. So when I'm winding it forward, those two nuts will stop it going any further than there. I then have a T-nut connected inside this smaller block here, and the whole thing will be fitted onto the two fences like so. You then have the handle on this part. Now the handle has two nuts again, and a nut on this side with a piece of walnut in the middle to act as the long piece on the handle. I then have two nuts, a washer, another washer on this side. I made a dowel, and I managed to drill down the centre just to give me a nice little handle there. It's got a smaller washer and another two nuts on there to hold it in place, but it does allow it to spin freely when you turn it. Now, overall this works really well. Unfortunately, when I drilled the two holes for the blocks, I didn't drill them completely parallel to each other, so the back block is slightly off, but that doesn't matter too much. So to connect these two onto the fence parts, I'm going to glue them and run a bolt with a nut to lock them in place. Right, it's the scary part of the build now. I'm going to start routing into the tabletop. Really not looking forward to this. I'm going to be using the T-slot cutter in the Triton router to do this. I've already measured where I want the track to be, and I placed a straight guide approximately 77mm away from that line. That is the distance between the end of the bit and the side of the router. Wish me luck. Both sides have been done now. This one worked out really nicely, but this one I had a slight drift in the router. I believe it's just going the wrong way, so it just slightly drift from the line. But holding it nice and tight against that, put a little bit of pressure on the table itself to bring it into the rail, it did help. So as I said before, I'm using M6 bolts here. They've got like a washer head on there. Now these in this hole, they do fit, but they're a bit loose. So I've come up with this. It's just a little bit of oak which I've cut up. It's just underneath the width of the T-slot itself, but it slides in there nicely. I'll cut them into portions about this size. I've recessed for the bolt head. It'll just go in like so. That'll be flush, and then it will just sit in there and slide like so. To find out where I need to place the holes for the router fence, just going to bring this up roughly where I want it to be placed. Be about there. Going to bring this in. And then place a mark in the middle of the bolt. So again, this side. Then using the combination square, just going to extend those lines. And then find out roughly where I'm going to be wanting them. So about there. So just find out it's about 46 millimeters. So I'll do the same on the other side. Recently I've started making my own dust collectors for individual tools that I've got lying around the workshop. Now a lot of them do come with supplied dust collectors of some sort, but a lot of them weren't able to attach to the dust collector that I've got. So I came up with a way to utilise some old piping that I've got lying around. So the technique that I've used, I will try and make another video to show you exactly what I've done, but basically all you're doing is using a piece of waste pipe for, I don't know, kitchen, bathroom. The one I think I used was 1 1/4 inch, and this is what I've come up with. So as you can see, there's the original waste pipe. I've heated it up and I've placed it around a form which I've cut out using a hole saw, and then I've just managed to get that back out. So this part fits into the dust collector, and this bit will fit on to here like this, so that'll be inset. To change a bit on the Triton router, all you do is raise it all the way up using the supplied turning rod, and place your bit in all the way. I like to tighten it with your hand first. Using the supplied spanner, it's quite nice. It's got a bent edge, or it's got a bent top for the spanner head. And that's really nice, so it doesn't mean you're like flat against the table, you're up a little bit. Tighten that down, and then using the adjusting rod, place it in through the insert plate, and it connects to the Turning screw underneath on the Triton router itself. Turn it down to the desired height. We'll use this as a reference. I'm going to need this to be really tight against the fence. So I'm going to be using 2 of the bolts to fix it into place. I've just drawn a line for the middle of the T-slot here, just to make it easier for myself. And I'm just And there we have it. The full build is now complete, and I've just got to say I love it. I absolutely love how this router table is working for me. I've had a few goes now on some of my bigger router bits, and this router is just absolutely astounding. I absolutely love the Triton build. It just goes through anything. Now I picked up some detail bits from China and eBay and such, and these are the sort of bits that you do need a router table for. So I just thought I'd try it out and show you the finished article. So there it is, can you see that bead on there? I love it, look at that, absolutely astounding. Lovely clean cut, really nice. I'll definitely be using this in future builds.
I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and we'll see you again soon.